Good evening, Jamaica. Welcome to Sports Unwrapped, Gleaner's weekly online sports review. Today we're going to be talking about cricket, more cricket, local and international cricket. The West Indies doing well in Sri Lanka, still doing well in Sri Lanka, and of course in an upcoming election for the Jamaica Cricket Association. We'll talk about those things after the break.
Just it's time to get in the game and win big money and all the sports you love. Football, basketball, or cricket, NFL, or track and field. And more. If you watch it, you can probably bet on it. So pick your matches, place your bets, and win some money for real. Listen. The more matches you bet on, the bigger the winnings. It's easy. Get your money at Green Venture Sports Betting Vendors Island-wide. Just bet your game, your passion. You must be 18 and over to play.
Welcome back to Sports Unwrapped, Gleaner Online's weekly sports review. Before the break, we were talking about cricket. Sri Lanka versus the West Indies. The West Indies are doing well 4 days in a row. Of course, rain interrupted, of course, but they continue to do well 4 days in a row and have Sri Lanka on the run. Joining me now to talk about the West Indies performance is Jermaine Lanneman. Jermaine, welcome to Sports Unwrapped. Your impressions of the West Indies performances so far in this test match in Galle?
Thanks for having me, Leighton. Quite an impressive, showing, I would want to say, for the West Indies. Many folks would not have expected a showing like this, but if you were following the signs and watching the trends, you'd realize that the level of professionalism that has been instituted by the West Indies Cricket Board, surprisingly so, since the past year, with the appointment of the coach, Otis Gibson, who is a serious and professional person, Dr. Ernest Hillier recently, and Darren Sammy. I think what you're finding now is that, persons are pulling up their socks, recognizing as persons such as Sawan and Pollard would find out, is either you're in or you're out. You either perform or you'll stay out.
Besides the first day of batting, the first 2 days of batting, where Chris Gayle scored, of course, his second triple century, we've seen very consistent bowling from the bowlers. Good discipline all day yesterday, and of course the day before that was interrupted by rain. Is this now, are we seeing now the new paradigm in the West Indies cricket in terms of the kind of professionalism, as you mentioned, sticking with the players, especially the younger ones?
The bowlers are just another demonstration of what I mentioned earlier. In the batting, we must not forget, our top 5 batsmen came to the party and performed, with Chris doing an exceptional job. What you're finding is that with the new paradigm shift, as I would put it, with the level of the attitude and the more seriousness to the approach, the distractions just normally take away from the performances of West Indies players. Whether be in a bowler or you're a batsman, and now, being a thing of, being pushed to the side. And the focus is much there. So what you're going to find is that players can now realize their potential and the competition. And in that comes players trying to bowl more discipline so as to get wickets, so as to keep their space in the team.
One last question before we go to the break. Darren Sammy as captain, what kind of impact do you think he has had already?
It depends. You're talking as a player,
as a captain, as leader of the team.
So far, not a bad job. Many persons, would want to knock him on a number of things that he has done. In terms of, say for instance, some persons wanted him to declare from earlier. I thought it was an excellent decision to get the players in to batting frame of mind. At least the persons who expect to hold the bat before they declare it. So that was good. Yesterday, persons wanted him to take the new ball earlier than expected. He kept with the spinners and he ensured that we bowl them out under the follow-on and so on and so forth. So he's determined to get a result. And that's what we need in West Indies cricket.
Just to get you caught up on the scores, the West Indies made 508 for 9. Sri Lanka made 378 in their first innings, and in their second innings are 89 without loss. After the break, we're going to come back home and talk a little bit about the pending elections between the Jamaica Cricket Association between Lyndell Wright and the incumbent Paul Campbell.
Just it's time to get in the game and win big money and all the sports you love. Football, basketball, or cricket, NFL, or track and field. And more. If you watch it, you can probably bet on it. So pick your matches, place your bets, and win some money for real. Listen. The more matches you bet on, the bigger the winnings. It's easy. Get your money at Green Venture Sports Betting Vendors Island-wide. Just bet your game, your passion. You must be 18 and over to play.
Welcome back to Sports Unwrapped, Gleaner Online's weekly sports review. We have with us Jermaine Lanneman in studio. We're talking now local cricket. The Jamaica Cricket Association has an election coming up. Expected to be sometime by the end of this month, but it could be before the end of the year. Paul Campbell is being challenged by Lyndall Wright, his vice president. How do you see that scenario playing out? Has Paul Campbell done enough over the last year to maintain his position as president of the JCA?
First of all, Leighton, news developed yesterday that from the AGM of the cricket board, the elections have been pushed to January, which is within the jurisdiction of the association. So it will be in January. As you say, Wright challenging Campbell, how? I think it will be a close call, and for more than one front. Paul Campbell has performed, I think, fairly well. I've given him grade consistently of between say 6 and 6.5 thereabout. Many persons would think that a lot could be done and that the sport is really lagging behind as it relates to this modernization aspect. But Campbell is if you want to put it, a modernist. He is trying his best. However, things are not happening, and there are a lot of other things off the field in which a lot of persons, members of the Cricket Association, are not pleased with. And it could be that Wright, they think could do a better job than he is doing. That it will be a close numbers game. My understanding is that it could very well go to slates, and the slates that I'm seeing lining up so far, right now it will be the right slate. Could really challenge Campbell's slate, which seems to have individuals with a lot of question marks.
So it looks like it could be a very close election come January. Paul Campbell's seat could be in trouble if Andre, what Jermaine says is true, but let's wait until see. It's going to be a very interesting January then for the Jamaica Cricket Association. When we come back, we wrap up and we have the interesting sports fact of the week.
Just bet. It's time to get in the game and win big money and all the sports you love. Football, basketball, cricket, NFL, or track and field. And more. If you watch it, you can probably bet on it. So pick your matches, place your bets, and win some money for real. The more matches you bet on, the bigger the winnings. It's easy. Get in on the money at Supreme Ventures Sports Betting Vendors Island-wide. Just bet. Your game, your passion. You must be 18 and over to play. Just bet.
Welcome back to Sports Unwrapped, Gleaner Online's weekly sports review. Of course, you can send us your emails at sportsunwrapped@gleanerjm.com, and you can catch my blogs on gleanerblogs.com. Of course, we're wrapping up now, so we're going to give you the interesting sports fact of the week. West Indies started playing Test cricket in 1928, and between 1928 and 1996, the West Indies won approximately 128 Test matches. Since 2004 to date, the West Indies have only won 5 Test matches. That's your interesting sports fact of the week. This is Leighton Levy saying goodbye, and until next Thursday, be a good sport.